I'm Jim Radio Award and welcome to my review for Lone Survivor. Just got back from watching this movie. I have my ticket here. There we go, awesome stuff. And what can I say about Lone Survivor? What a realistic portrayal on an actual operation that went wrong. I really like the fact this is said it's based upon a true story. You know, most movies say based on a true story and they change certain things, or they change characters, or they change the situation, or make it certain scenes make it like an epic, like oh my god kind of thing, you know, kind of thing like that. This one is really grounded. I really like the action in it, in terms of it's non-stop and it doesn't give you a breather. It's very intense. I like the accurate portrayal of the characters. I really liked how the fact they got injured, and it's the, you know, they're really like saying like, you know, we've got to keep it, we've got to keep push forward, we've got to push forward. And I like, you know, the tactics and the operations and the organisation of the characters and how they moved and they operated. And I think it's a really good portrayal on these kind of like military side of it, in a sense. And I really like the characters. I really liked how they got certain things just spot on, and it was an American hoorah kind of thing like that. It was a really good character story. It was a really good, you know, situation in a sense of like what happened and putting the audience through that moment. And you know, being the fact it is based upon a true story and you got an accurate portrayal, and I really enjoyed that aspect. So let's talk about The Lone Survivor. So The Lone Survivor is directed by the guy who did Hancock. He did Battleship also, another kind of Navy military kind of alien invasion type movie, which was pretty fun to a certain degree. I think his directing work is pretty good, pretty solid. I mean, I really enjoyed Hancock. I think Battleship was pretty good, decent for what it was. You know, it wasn't anything special. I think he's definitely flexed his muscles a bit more in this movie. He's also an actor, the director is, so I think he can kind of like, you know, get an actor's role and see himself doing certain things. So I think as an actor and as a director, I think he's got two sides of the coin, which is really good for a movie like this. I especially loved the cinematography straight away off the bat. I think it was very like kind of like documentary in a certain way, or the, you know, certain, like, it wasn't like cinema look. It was more like someone was filming it with a camera, you know, looking at each person in a sense, you know, going with them on the journey in a way. I think the lens kind of flare in some places were really nice. Like I saw once actually like filming it from like a helicopter in a way. I really love the cinematography, and it portrayed the characters and the situation appropriately, and it wasn't clean, it wasn't fantastic, you know, in terms of like, you know, platoon shots in a way like that. It was very like you're in the moment, you're in that grounded position. I think he portrayed it really well. Storyline, obviously, if you're not familiar with it, is that of course a unit called Operation Red Wings, if I remember correctly, goes completely wrong. You know, this platoon, this you know, group of people are going in to capture or kill this kind of terrorist that's killing so many you know, soldiers, you know, Marines in a sense. And the operation goes wrong, goes bad. They scrap it. This gets to the top of the peak of the hill. Let's get out of here. Let's go home. And you know, they get encountered by basically practically an army of rebels that are basically trying to kill them and take them down. And they're trying their best to survive, and they're doing the tactics right. They're getting like, we're gonna push them back, but there's just too many of them, and it's a situation they could not get out alive. And hence the Lone Survivor title, in a sense. Only one gets out alive. And there's a book, and it's actually based upon a true story, and I really liked how accurate it was. It was just so refreshing to see. The opening of the movie had like footage of the actual troops in training. The ending had like pictures of the actual soldiers, the actual people that died during this, you know, the actual event. And then you kind of think to yourself, it happens quite often in terms of like, you know, military life, going on operations, things can go wrong, not everyone comes back alive. And it was quite interesting in the fact of like, you know, resources, you know, certain soldiers couldn't go out unless they had like air support, or certain things like, you know, comms, stuff like that. You know, I think it was very like, each character had a distinct personality, and they had the special like way of looking at the situation, and there wasn't like typical like, I'm your worst enemy or kind of thing like that. It was a case of each has their opinions, they all fall into a certain commands, they all worked as a team, they all worked as a unit, they're all brothers, they're all friends, and they tried their best to get to the situation. And I think a lot of those scenes were really fantastic, and I love the fact that they were talking in some situations about what just happened, and all of a sudden you get like a fucking bullet shot or a bomb goes right next to them, and just the action. Once the action starts, it never stops, and it keeps going, and it would be if you got an army of people going after you, soldiers. They're going to keep going after you. You're not going to stop until you've done your giant monologue speech. You're going to keep going, you can keep pushing forward, and I think the action was done really appropriately. I love the whole tactics of these small units. I love how intense it was, especially the scenes. I love the sound of the actual rifles. I think the cliff hills when they're like falling off the rocks and the wood, and it's so painful. You really feel like they're going through it. And I like the fact that when they did get hit or they lose like a finger or get shot on the leg or whatever kind of thing, they just keep going, because at the end of the day, if you're built to be like that, you trained your life to be like that, you're not going to like quit or say save me kind of thing. You're going to go out with every last bullet you got in your gun. And I really like how dedicated some of these actors were portrayed in terms of their soldiers, and I think it was just so refreshing to see that without the American like typical America's awesome, come and join us in a sense. It was a case of like, this is for people that are in the situation, it's not going to be for everybody in a sense. This is just what happened, and I really like that. I think it was a good tribute to the people that did die during the battle of this, on this operation. And I like the fact of what it left after he found out what's happened, and the pictures at the end I thought was very moving, very touching. And it's a good start to finish, character driven movie, situation gone wrong, good action, good acting, especially from Mark Wahlberg. We also got John Carter, the actor, I forgot his name, is Tyler something. Actually, pretty decent role for him. Nice to take a back seat from that movie. He's not a very good lead man, but he's a good supporting cast, definitely for sure. You've got Ben Foster, fantastic, really, really good. It reminded me of Medal of Honor in some respect, in terms of that game, in terms of the environment, in terms of the clothing and the beards and the armor and stuff like that. It felt exactly like that in terms of just the situation, and everything's all very bleak and looks exactly the same in terms of like the rocks and stuff like that, and trying to get the positions right and not getting that shot right and something like that. It just feels so grounded in that respect, and it was really, really good. It's a nice start to finish movie. I really enjoyed it. The directing was really good, cinematography was really good, sounding was fantastic, very intense. Go and check it out. The cinema, definitely worth your time and effort. I'll probably end up buying it on DVD or Blu-ray, whatever, when I do get the chance. Mark Wahlberg, very good performance from him. The rest of the cast were very good. Not much more I can say about that. Go and check it out. What we're going to get for this movie. If you like realistic, actual portrayal movies based upon actual proper stories and actually show it properly, then this movie is definitely going to be for you. That's my movie for Lone Survivor. I hope you're watching this review. What did you think of the movie? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Comment down below. So in the meantime, Andrew from Movie TV, signing out.